everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Nobody's Beauty Guru. Today I am here with Stars and Strikes, my favorite and least favorite high-end beauty products. I have piles ahead of me, like in front of me here. So we're not going to go over like lotion, skincare, stuff like that. I'm going over just purely like color cosmetics. You get it. I'm going to start with the stars. Does that make sense? Let's do that. My primer functionality has changed a lot since I stopped wearing any kind of foundation. So what I do is I still use like a silicone or a moisturizing or hydrating primer just to put all over my face and give it a little bit of moisture on top of my moisture routine, because I have a ton of primers. So I need to find a way to use them. And I find that things like the IT Cosmetics Feel the Moment Anti-Aging Ultra Hydrating Sensory Awakening Primer Serum works almost like skincare. So this is one that I can still use even though I'm not putting foundation on top of it. And it works really, really well under foundation too. And then when I was using foundation all the time, I really liked pore fillers. And I found that I really did enjoy this Pores No More by Dr. Brandt. I liked this one a lot better than the other pore fillers that I had tried. However, I do think that the NYX pore filler works just as well, and that one is a lot more affordable, but we're talking high-end. So for high-end, I like this for a pore filler. Now, Dr. Brandt is not cruelty-free, so that's an older product that I'm still going through that was gifted to me. Also for primers, I love the Hourglass Mineral Veil. This is just a sample, and I have like a little sample from Sephora as well. I've never used the full like product size. I've always had a ton of samples, but I really do love the way it works. However, drugstore wise, I think this NYX Angel Veil works almost the same exact way, and this is what I wear on its own on my skin. Even if I don't wear any foundation, these work really nicely on my skin just to give me like a little bit of moisture and glow. So I like these, but again, that's drugstore and this one is not, but this is gorgeous. For bronzers, I really do love the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. I've hit pan on this one and I've moved on to other bronzers. I do like, I mean, are we considering the balm to be high-end? It's sold at like Kohl's, but it's a prestige brand and it's a little pricier. So this is the Bahama Mama, and I like both of these. I think they're really good bronzers. And I would say that the majority of my bronzers are high-end. I don't have a lot of drugstore bronzers. And then for cheeks, I really do think that Becca crushes it. I love their blushes. This is Snapdragon, or no, I'm sorry, this one's Flower Child. I have Snapdragon too. Flower Child's a gorgeous peachy shade, and I just think that their formulation on their cheek products is stunning. This one is Champagne Pop. I definitely fell into the craze, guys, even though this is very dark for my skin tone. Be warned, you know, just because it's popular doesn't mean that it's going to work on your own skin tone. But I love their face stuff. And I think that they do a really, really good job. Even their backlight priming filter, I use that now too, just all over my skin with no foundation. I think that gives me like a nice glow all over. So I like those. Also going to put Bite Beauty into this. This is gorgeous. This is Gelato. This is a cream multi-stick, and I will be using this one up hopefully in 2018 because it is a natural product, which means it doesn't stay good forever. This is something that I'm really looking forward to using on my cheeks, but it's this gorgeous color that you can sheer out and make a very, very pretty blush color. You can use this on your eyes. I just think that their products in general are really gorgeous, and I really prefer their multi-sticks even to their lipsticks and their other lines. I think the multi-sticks are a great price point for what you can use it for, which is a monochromatic all over look. You can do it on your cheeks, your lips, your eyes, legitimately anywhere. Then I will cover some lippies. I really do like this Dose of Colors. They're pricey. This is a limited edition in Black Rose. It's the only one I have, but I love it, but it's pricey. Also the Kat Von D liquid lipsticks, which I know there's like a giant debate about. Some people love them, some people hate them. I like them. My favorite though is one that I actually have in my purse, and I'm lazy so I'm not getting up, and it's the Stila liquid lipsticks. They're phenomenal. They're my favorite formula. They have a great smell to them. They last a really long time. I like the applicator. Everything about them is aces, so definitely check out the Stila liquid lipsticks, and they're cruelty free again now, which is phenomenal. And then I have some eyeshadow palettes that I really love, so we're going to go over a couple of those as well. I do really like the Lorac Pro. Again, not cruelty free, but I'm using it up because I was gifted it. And this one I've hit pan on a good number of shadows. This was actually my palette for November, and I'm not doing an update for it because I didn't use it and I didn't hit pan on anything. And I think that you can get a lot of looks out of this. I think they perform really well. I don't have any problems with them, so that works fine for me. I also absolutely love my Stila in the Light palette. I know that their formulation is one that I like. I don't think you can get this anymore. A lot of these are empty or dang near empty. A lot of pan in this one because I did try to pan this. But I love their formulation. I love their shadows, and Kitten especially, which I already have a single of because it's gorgeous. Do also like the Anastasia Beverly Hills shadows. I don't have any of their other palettes. This is the Self-Made, which was a limited edition, but I found myself really enjoying these colors and the formula of these shadows. I know that her formulation has changed across some of her like subculture. Some of her palettes have changed formula, but this one I do enjoy. I'm not going to say I enjoy every single shade in this, so it's not necessarily this palette, but in general, I do like Anastasia's stuff. Then we have the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye palette. I really do think that her formula on her shadows is gorgeous. So this is the only one that I have still. I've decluttered some of the other ones because they were older or just not colors that I was using anymore. I think you need to be selective when it comes to her stuff. She has a lot. She puts out a lot of stuff. And if you don't think you're going to use the colors, then it isn't worth it for you. But if you think you're going to use them, like you just want basic neutrals, then go for it. If you think you're going to use all those crazy colors that she tends to put in her palettes, then absolutely go for it. Just make sure it's worth your money, but I do think that her formulation is really, really nice. And then I'm going to mention this. I am probably not going to be purchasing from Too Faced anymore. They are still cruelty-free, even though they have a parent company that isn't. I just don't think I appreciate the owner and the brand anymore, and some of what they stand for. This is the only Too Faced palette that I own, but I do love the formula of these. I love the colors. I do think that if you have some of the other chocolate bars that you might not need the neutrals that are in this one, and you have to really kind of want those pops of color. But for me, not having any of the other ones, this one really does work well, and it's the one that I wanted out of all of those. I hadn't been tempted by any of the chocolate bars, but this one got me, so I do enjoy that one. I also have one foundation mention that I don't have with me because I don't own it anymore, and that is the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, Your Skin But Better, SPF 50. It is phenomenal. It looks gorgeous all the time. I do love it. I'm sure at some point, if I decide that I want some kind of a foundation or coverage, I will go back to that one. It really is gorgeous, and I do really love that for a high-end foundation. So we're going to go into some strikes, and I'm going to start with the foundations. I don't have any of them. The Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation, or Tattoo, I don't know what they call it, guys. I had it, I unhauled it, I decluttered it, and I gave it to a friend that it would color match. It's just not something that I need in my life, that kind of coverage, and I think that the Milani 2-in-1 does it just as well at a drugstore price. And then I really did not like the Too Faced Born This Way foundation at all. I also really did not care for the Urban Decay Naked Skin. Those were ones that just didn't work for me, especially for their price point. I used them because I paid for them, but I was not happy about using them, kind of a situation. For primers, we have a Pore Filling by Tarte. I just don't love it as much as that Dr. Brandt. Same with this Benefit, which is also, I get these little samples, but this is not cruelty free. It has a different texture to it. Like this is more, it's a silicone based one, so it almost reminds me of the Smashbox Photo Finish priming. And for me, that's a slippery one, but it's not a pore filler. This one specifically says Clean Slate Poreless, and I don't think this is poreless as a silicone primer. It does not fill in your pores. It's not what it says it is. I don't like it. Then we'll go into a face product. This is the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, no, IT Cosmetics Innovative Technology Celebration Foundation Illumination in Light. So this is a powder foundation from IT Cosmetics. One, I don't really use powder foundation, so this was just a mistake for me. Two, I don't really care for the formula. It has decent coverage, but it looks chalky all the time no matter what I do, and I don't love it. And then for lips, I have the Ofra lipsticks. Now I have a lot of people that comment and say they love this formula. I don't. This is a Kathleen Lights Havana Nights. I found it to be very, very, very drying. I did not enjoy this at all. So I don't know if it was a funky batch or if something went weird, but people have said, no, it's really super comfortable, but not for me. I can't get behind it. Blushes and face products. I am specifically saying the Jaclyn Hill Becca collab. I looked at this and went, I don't need that. I already have Champagne Pop. I don't think the Prosecco Pop is a color that's really going to work for me. This is Prosecco Pop, I'm sorry. I don't think that that's something that's going to work for me. It's way too gold, way too deep, and I don't really need that in my life. And I have blush colors. I'm not going to use these. Didn't really think I was going to use this terracotta. This is very, very shimmery, and this is super pink, which I don't wear. I don't think I've ever worn this palette. This to me is one that I'll eventually have to start panning or using, but it did not make sense for me to own it at all. And I don't think that it's a color palette that works for me. So this for me is a no on the color selection and also the fact that I purchased it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the products themselves. I think, again, their formula is really, really good. This was just a stupid purchase on my part. The same kind of goes for this. This is the Shade and Light Contour Palette by Kat Von D. Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with her formula. It's wonderful. This color will never work for me. This one's a little too orange. This one does work. This doesn't really work for me in any practical sense. This I can use as a banana powder. This I can use to set my under eye, but this is too orange. This is too dark. This one's a little bit too like orange toned. Again, I can make it work, but I never reach for it because it's something I have to make work. And I have other products that do this without reaching for this. So I don't know if it's just the way that I use my makeup, but I don't find myself reaching for the palette when I want to go and do those things. I find myself reaching for individual products instead. On to the same thing, and I don't think this is a product issue, it's just a me not needing it issue. I got the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders, which I'm hoping to get use out of in the coming year, but I bought this and then never used it. I've used it like once or twice. This is just something that I have not found a way to work into my daily makeup routine. So for me, it's wasted money. I used it, I bought it, and I don't have a use for it. So I don't think it's a problem with the product. It's just not something that I can get very much use out of. The other one is the Lorac Pro eyeshadow palette. This is meh. This is just not like a well put together palette. This is the Stylized palette. I don't get it. And the pigmentation on them is not horrible, but I tend to get a lot of hard pan when I'm using these. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Lorac shadows, except for that Pro palette. I haven't really found one that I like. Tarte shadows, on the other hand, are horrific. I don't like them, and I continue to like buy them. I got this Poppy palette on Haute because I was like, oh, it's gorgeous, neutrals with a blush. I could take this and get like an everyday eye look. They're all matte, except for the blush, which has chunks of gold glitter in it. And I figured, oh, I can totally use this as like an everyday neutral palette, except I have the Kat Von D palette and I have blushes that don't have glitter in it. And I don't need this, so I'm probably going to gift this to one of my sisters this Christmas because I swatched one of those colors. I've never reached for it. And I just don't like Tarte eyeshadow formula, so unfortunately, not for me. Now, granted, most of the Tarte shadows I've used have been in holiday palettes, and I know that's a different formulation. So their formula may be great in palettes like this, but I just don't need this particular palette where it's like matte neutrals when I have it in the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette or in Makeup Geek singles, and then the blush in this has chunks of glitter in it that I'll never use. So that's not something that I need in my life. That is it for this particular Stars and Strikes. I look forward to seeing what your favorite and least favorite high-end products are. Be sure to check out down below everybody else that's participating and the rest of the different categories that we're going to be going over before the end of this particular collab. And for now, that's everything. If you like this video, give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.